Hey y'all, welcome to the Fable House Podcast. In this interview, we sat down with two of the 8 Kinane brothers, Dan and Chuck Kinnane. They were the driving force behind Netflix's Home Team, the recently released Water Brother, and the soon-to-be released Solo Mio starring Kevin James. The Kinane brothers are also the driving force behind the account Screenplayed on Instagram, which has amassed over 1 million followers, which shows how scripts are brought to the big screen. We talk about all of that and what it's like really making movies with your family. How they went from creating short films in their garage to directing Hollywood features, and the lessons they learned about trust, teamwork, and creative growth along the way. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. Follow us on Instagram at the Fable House Pod for more guest insights. And if you want future episodes dropped directly into your email inbox, go ahead and sign up for our newsletter on our website, fablehouse.tv. And we hope you enjoy this episode.
Overwhelmingly, people were just like, I don't know, I would lose that scene. And I'm like, and I was so like, I loved it so much. It was such a darling of in the writing. And we sent it to the producers, and the only note that came back was like, what the fuck was that?
Like, what did that have to do with anything?
I'm Chuck Kinnane.
I'm Dan Kinane.
And we're a directing team with the Kinane Brothers. We're 2 of 8 brothers that work together in the film industry.
I saw y'all went to the premiere for Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, we did.
Good time.
Wild.
Yeah, it was a trip.
That was the biggest premiere I think I've ever seen. I mean, there were thousands of people there.
Yeah.
Right? It was
huge. Same. Like, everywhere you looked, there was like somebody you recognized, like pro golfer, celebrity actors, and nuts.
Yeah.
So do you? I know. I mean, I know you guys have been working together your whole lives. How can you not? Being brothers and all that stuff. But what was your first film that y'all made, or was it like a home movie style thing, or like what was the first film y'all made together?
Yeah. So we made a movie. I think it was 2015,
2016.
Yeah.
Summer of 2016. Yeah.
We were all doing, a lot of us. Chuck had been working along with our brother-in-law Jeff, kind of doing their own stuff, filmmaking stuff, and my brothers and I were doing our own stuff, just more for fun, like, only our family and friends were seeing what we were doing. But we were all working carpentry, or like we were painting and stuff. And there was one summer, Chuck was like, "Hey, I think this is a summer. Let's just go make a movie, and let's take the month of August and let's go do it." And so we came up with an idea. Or Chuck had an idea for a movie. We didn't even write the script out. We beat it out the story. We had like 40 beats. We had all the scenes, and we went and just shot it the whole summer of August. But it's called Saving Bill Murray, and the plan was, let's shoot the whole movie. We only needed him for one scene at the end of the movie, so the plan was, let's just shoot the whole movie and then present it to him and say, we just need you for this one scene at the end of the movie.
And we had no credits, right?
We had no credit. We literally, I mean,
yeah, it's like
that classic. Like, we didn't know what we were doing, but like, we honestly had no idea what we were doing. Like, we were literally making it up every single day.
We knew he had a 1-800 number that you could call, because he had gotten rid of his manager and agent, and there was a phone number.
So that's a real thing. I heard about that, but I thought that was
yeah.
But man,
I don't know if it was an 800 number, but it was some kind of phone number he had where you could call a message and maybe he'd get back to you.
But it was just we still think about it. That was like one of the best summers ever, because we just, like I said, we had the scenes, we knew what the movie was, but every day we'd show up and we would just make it up on the day. Or like, we'd find plot holes on the day and be like, all right, we got to fix this. How do we fix this? And we'd come up with a whole new scene right then and there and go shoot that. And but yeah, the premise is that it's these 2 brothers from a small town driving down this country road, and they come up on this like convertible. Doors are open, there's no one there, but there's blood everywhere out on the street and out of the car. And they find a wallet and they pull out the license, and it's Bill Murray's license. So they immediately are like, oh my God, something bad has happened to Bill Murray. And so they go there's a blood trail that leads into the woods, and they go looking for him.
Is that somewhere where can people watch this somewhere?
No,
it's still on the track. I know.
Well, it's funny because we said we would never release it, because it's one of those films that it's a true like learn as we go process. So we kind of laughed about it, and we sent it to Bill Murray
Do you know if he watched it?
I don't know.
We don't know if he saw the whole thing. He definitely knew about it, and we ended up getting a message to him, and he was like, "You can use our name. You can use my name and my likeness," but he was like, "I can't. I'm too busy. I can't be in it." So he was gracious enough in that sense, but it was one of those things where probably nobody will ever see it. Maybe
another like 20 years.
Maybe
we'll put it out there.
If we have a good long career, we make a bunch of successful movies.
Then we can afford to show people.
We can afford to show people.
It's bad. It's not a good movie.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes me think of that, people show like little clips from like Spielberg's first movie where it's just, they never show the full thing. It's always just like those couple little clips. Yeah. And you can tell it's super shitty. But,
that's what this is. It's super shitty.
Man. Well, I will say we had the greatest time ever. Man. Like every day was a blast, and it was there was something so like we're trying to get back to that moment where we can make a film kind of on our terms and have it be good. I mean, right now we've made a few films that obviously there's a lot more people involved, and like Home Team, Kobe, there could be hundreds of people on set every day. But just there's something beautiful about that stripped down process where it's like a handful of people in a camera and go make it.
For sure. Dude, that's that. I mean, that feeling is great. Like me and Colby have started shooting stuff just us again, just for fun. Some of that stuff will never see the light of day, but like I went years without holding a camera, and it just feels nice to get back to like, oh yeah, this is why I got into filmmaking, because I wanted to make movies. Right. Yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like we've gone years without, because we always had a camera in our hands, and now that we've been working on these longer projects, and some projects you're not allowed to touch the camera, right?
Yeah.
Like in a union situation, right? You got to respect the crew and the operators and the DP and everything. So it's funny.
For sure.
Yeah.
And some films call for that, right? Some films call for the big crew and all that stuff, and some films don't. Like and I mean, y'all have a decent sized crew right there amongst your family. So, but I'm imagining, like, just one question that popped into my head while you were talking about the Bill Murray one is like, is that when everybody, like, y'all sat in a circle and everybody was like, all right, I'll be the sound guy, I'll be editing. Like, did everybody pick their craft at that point?
I mean, it was kind of like whoever was around on the day got to hold the boom. It was just like it's funny, we've got like some pictures of screen grabs where like the camera like kind of panned a little too far right, and you see like it's either like my brother or my brother-in-law or my sister, like someone's holding the boom like just off camera. It's so funny.
Yeah,
someone different holding the boom every day.
Yeah.
Or we had one. I don't even think we had any lights, right? No. Do we have any lights? We just had a reflector and a boom.
Yeah, man.
It is. Yeah, you're right though. It's like trying to
sometimes
remember what that felt like.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes people overcomplicate it. Like Colby's probably sick of hearing me talk about this, but like I have 3 little kids. I have twin boys and I have a daughter, and my kids have been loving watching the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
And have y'all seen that one?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we've started watching some of these episodes where, like we watched early ones, we watched late ones. I mean, the guy's made video for like 10 years or whatever. And he's never changed his style. Like it's always been all shot on GoPros. He's always like doing it all himself. But you see these like crossover episodes where he's working with other guys that have like a crew shooting their YouTube channel. And he's like, oh man, I feel kind of inadequate in this scenario. I have 2 GoPros, but I think that's part of like why my kids like it so much, is because like it feels like a home movie every time.
It's not overly produced.
Right. It's not overproduced, and like the audio's clean, and you see what he's talking about, and like you feel like you're just like camping with a dad or an uncle or somebody.
It feels more authentic because he's there alone in those environments.
Yeah, It's really cool. And then there are other times where I'm also going like, man, that must have sucked to have to like go set that just to get that time lapse, like because he's doing some pretty harsh stuff. But getting this back about you guys, like y'all did all the YouTube stuff and then y'all did Home Team, and I mean that was the jump, right? Y'all were doing like short form stuff and then made the jump to Home Team. What if you guys were to, I'm sure you learned a lot of lessons in that process, but if you were to do that again, is there anything that you would do differently? Or if you were talking to somebody else, maybe yourselves, you know 10 years ago or whatever, and you're trying to give yourself a heads up on what's coming up, what hurdles did you overcome? What was that transition like? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I could say, I mean, I feel like for us, when we first stepped on set, it was kind of like at least the feeling I had was like, well, what are we doing here? Like, we have no business being here. Like, and that was kind of, it took a long time, even in that process, to
which
feel.
is partly true.
Yeah. It was like, we had no business.
Our first job on a movie set.
We had no business being there. But I think it was kind of an uncomfortable role to be in, having never been in that director role, having to be the person to call the shots on set. And like, it took a lot to get used to. I think, we were trying to be as collaborative as possible. I mean, we always are, even still, we're always trying to collaborate with the people we're working with. But I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe I feel like it would have been nice to have a little bit more confidence in myself stepping into that role. I think it felt like a fish out of water, I don't know.
Yeah. So if you're go back in time, you'd tell yourself to be more confident.
I think so. Yeah. And I'd start yelling at people more.
Yeah.
I joke about it all the time. Like, I can kind of see why directors are known to be assholes. Someone's got to yell at somebody.
No, I think there was they talk about, I mean, you've heard people probably talk about imposter syndrome. Well, for sure. I mean, coming in and we didn't even know, I mean, it sounds terrible, but we didn't know a lot of the roles on set. Yeah. We had to learn that as we were kind of too embarrassed to ask what
we would meet with someone, a head of department head, and then he'd walk out of the office. I'd then Google, I'm like, what does this person do?
I mean, I know it sounds so stupid, but it really was a big jump. I would say I felt there was something though about being on set that felt so at peace or at home on set. Like I loved being in there's something so exciting about being in kind of the hurricane or being in the eye of the storm, because we always tried to keep calm. Dan and I mean, no matter what happened, and Kobe, that was a crazy. I mean, I think our UPM said, I think he shot Deepwater Horizon.
Todd, we know Todd pretty well. Yeah. He did Captain Phillips. He did Deepwater Horizon. He's done all these massive movies.
And I think Todd said that was one of the hardest movies he's ever done.
Y'all couldn't have picked a hotter time to be shooting Louisiana.
I mean, we had a tornado. We had Seamus Tierney went down with heat stroke because it was 120 degrees on the field.
Rain delays, lightning delays. It was nuts.
So it was very
out in the middle of fields with no trees or anything, man.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I remember the set medic had one of those thermometers and he was pointing it at the turf, and it was like 165 degrees or something ridiculous.
Those kids' cleats were melting on the turf, and we had to get all the kids off because it was too hot this one day.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a trial by fire, but there was something so loved every day, right? Every day we stepped foot on the set, it was like
it was like the most exciting thing ever. It was so cool.
But there is something, I agree with Dan. Like, I think we could have been more, I think because we were that imposter syndrome and you have so much respect for the crew who does this all the time. And some of them have been working on, like Todd had done so many huge movies, and a lot of the crew had done so many movies that we felt like, but again, I think a crew looks to you for that assertiveness and that direction, and that confidence. And that's what they want. They want someone where, I think maybe we were kind of a little bit gentler, and where we could have been more.
We could have been a little more firm and like, this is what we want.
Because that's really, That's really what. That's what I think. I would agree with Dan. I would change that too, where we could come in and be a lot more strong, even though we're way inexperienced. Really, all the crew's looking for the crew all has their expertise, and they're just looking for that. Like, this is the true north. This is where we're going. We're heading this direction. Trust me to do my job. Right.
Right.
Every crew member has ownership over their own piece of this machine that's creating the movie together. So that's that. I think that's the biggest thing is just
It's
being
like
very clear with the direction.
Yeah.
Why they call it the director.
Even if it's like the worst decision ever, they just want to know that like the director's like, no, this is what we're doing. Like, just do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and like you're saying, hopefully people, that is a little bit of a pet peeve for me is like people dance around the, oh, we'll circle back to that. They do that thing every now and then. I like when people call it out and just go like, I don't agree with that decision. And then you can have a discussion about it. But like, I think everybody, department heads especially, appreciate, like clear direction on stuff. But like, as I'm thinking about this, do y'all watch the producer Patrick Instagram? He does like some YouTube stuff too. Where he just
him, yeah. He's kind of the state of Hollywood, right?
Yeah, and like I mean, he's a little doom and gloom on stuff sometimes.
He is doom and gloom. He kind of.
Yeah, I know he's like, and he's probably doing that because he's trying to keep his momentum on social media and stuff like that now. But like one of the things he pointed out that we've been talking about a lot recently is the content creation industry is blowing up. Like it's doing really well. It's excelling while like filmmaking is kind of on, it's a little lull. We're in a valley. I don't know what you want to call that, but it's been tough in the film industry lately. But you see these guys that are like content creators, YouTubers turned, Hollywood. I don't even know, like, I don't know the terms for this stuff right now because I feel like it's also like uncharted territory on where we're going. But like, y'all know the Talk to Me guys, the have y'all heard about that horror movie that came out recently? It's two brothers actually. This brother thing is a reoccurring theme apparently. They're two brothers from I think Australia, and I can't remember their names right now. But they like worked crew. They worked in like camera and electric and stuff like that. And then they got the opportunity to direct. They did this Talk to Me horror film with Blumhouse. It did really well, and now they have multiple movies that they're doing right now. But like I see people like getting so many reps. But no, it's all good. Like I'm would love if you guys could give some thoughts on people looking to make that kind of transition where like I see you get like a ton of reps when you're making short form content and like you're developing a set of skills for sure. And like that definitely applies to like when you get the Hollywood opportunity. And just like if you're talking to somebody who's looking at making that transition, do y'all have thoughts on that?
The biggest, like I know like a lot of young people started reaching out to us and they want to come and visit our studio and talk to us about kind of the journey and looking for advice, just like we were, still do today. I mean, we're always like learning and trying to, okay, how do we do this better? How do we do this better? I think the one thing that I tell everybody is like, just make as much stuff as you can. Yeah. It sounds so cliche, but it's really, like I would say, I mean, even to think about, I couldn't imagine that we would make shorts on YouTube and then get a movie out of that. And a lot of that had to do with obviously Kevin and his relationship with Adam Sandler and the right timing where Sandler had this movie for Kevin, and then he told Kevin, I remember we got the call where he was like, Sandler wants me to do this movie and he wants you guys to direct it. And that was because he had seen the shorts and obviously loved Kevin but I think the biggest thing, because work begets work. I mean, you guys know, you put stuff out there, you don't know what happens. The guys put out a short they did. It was a knock joke. Remember that? Mm-hmm. It was just like a silly thing you guys shot one night and didn't get a lot of views. It didn't go insanely viral. It was maybe, I don't know, 20,000 views or something. It was very small. And we got a call from Howie Mandel, and Howie Mandel was like, I love you guys, love your stuff. Then there was a talk about maybe doing developing a television show with him. So you never know where stuff's going to lead. So You just put stuff out there, and the more you put out there, the more chances you have of something coming back, someone seeing it. And so I think what I would tell myself, now what how old's YouTube now? 20 years old or 19 years old now, something like that. I would say start uploading stuff right away. Like, doesn't matter how imperfect it is, how terrible it is, just publish it. Publish. We got to have dinner with John Williams. Unbelievable opportunity. We got to sit with John Williams one night. He was being honored at this dinner, and we got to sit with him. And he said, and he's the most prolific guy. I mean, he's a genius, right? But he does so much. And he talked about his process. He said, I have a journalistic approach to writing music. Just like a journalist would write a story, then they send it off to the paper and it comes out in the paper, it's published. And they may see things they wanted to change, right? They're like, this wording could have been better. I could have done this better. But it's too late. It's already published. It's out there for the world to see. He said, I do that same thing with music. He goes, I write a minute of music every day. I send it off and then it's recorded. And that's it. I can't go back and rewrite. It's already been, the orchestra's re-recorded it. So I think there's something to be said about having that journalistic approach to making stuff, because the more you do, it just compounds and compounds. And I think once it's out in the world, it has a life of its own. And everybody knows that, but it's one thing to have the practice of doing it, right? Everybody knows that's the key, is just to have the consistency and keep making things. But actually doing it is another process entirely.
Totally. Well, and like I get really hung up on the publishing side of it these days, where like, because we have our whole career in visual effects and like producing and that side of things. And you're like, oh, well, I don't want to necessarily I don't want people to think, I'm doing this crappy work over here and like associate that with me on other things. And like, I think that's our fear on publishing a lot of things. But I mean, you're not the first guys to say like, man, just hit publish, where like, I feel like that is key, where like a friend of mine that's a content creator, he was like, man, you can nitpick it all day long. You can edit it, for the rest of your life if you wanted to, but you should just go ahead and publish it and start working on the next thing. And he was like, and like you're saying, not that many people are going to see it in the first place, where it's like, that's kind of comforting and discouraging at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
But we used to have, like, when we were doing the YouTube stuff with Ken and James, we had a thing, we called it No Note Fridays, because it's like, we have to be done with this and we got to put it out there. So no notes. We're just going to watch it down and we're going to hit publish,
That's a good one.
No Note Fridays.
No Note Fridays.
Yeah, I might be borrowing No Notes Friday.
You second guess everything. You second guess the music and the hook and the thumbnail.
The thing is, that whole second guessing it stuff is never going to go away, because even now, like, we will sometimes go back and look at some of those shorts and you watch it, you're like, we would have done that differently or done this differently. I mean, that's just, it's inevitable. It's part of the process, and it's so universal to everybody. No matter what you're doing, has that feeling, and it'll never go away. You're always going to have that. So it's better just put it out and sit on the hard drive.
Yeah, do it better next time. Yeah, it does make me sad when I think about all the stuff I have sitting on a hard drive sometimes. Yeah. But so how frequently were you guys publishing? Like, what was your schedule? Or did y'all have one?
Every week.
So once a week, yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't remember there being like 2 weeks going by.
No. Sometimes it was more, like maybe there was a shorter piece that we would just throw out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely close to once a week.
So like, when y'all were doing that, what did a typical schedule look like for you guys? Was that just like what you were doing all week, every week?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because it was during lockdown, the majority of everything we shot and posted with Kevin was all during the initial COVID lockdown. So there was nothing else to do. His show was on hiatus, and then we had nothing. We had a special with NBC with the Olympics that we were prepping to go into, and that all went away. And so there was nothing. Yeah, that was it. It was like, all right, well, Kevin,
we were gonna go home. I remember the the lockdown thing came out, right? It was like, all right, everyone, we're gonna lock down for 2 weeks, whatever it was. And we were in New York at the time, and it was this thing where we were like, all right, do we go home or do we stay here? And Kevin was like, hey, if you guys want to stay and you guys can kind of quarantine with me, we'll create our own little bubble. We can just keep working. So we were like, all right, let's do it. And that was one of those things too, where we didn't really know how long, like no one really knew how long are we going to be in lockdown. And so it was a kind of a leap of faith, because it's like, all right, we're saying goodbye to everyone at home. And obviously, look, we had our experience on that period of time was totally different. I mean, I don't know how we were able to have that experience. It's kind of crazy, but
that's
awesome.
awesome.
We were kind of leap of faith. Well, let's do it. And so we quarantined with them for, I don't know, a few months.
Yeah.
And we just, I don't know if we really had like a set schedule. It was like every day we were just constantly throwing out ideas. Like if an idea popped up, because we were with him every day, all day long. Like we were in his garage hanging out with him. And if an idea came up during lunch, someone would be like, oh, this would be a funny idea for a skit, And then if he liked it, we'd develop it, and then we'd just go shoot it as fast as we could. And yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. At a time that was so shitty for a lot of people, it's one of those things where like, it sounds like you guys were really fortunate and had a good experience during that time.
Yeah. I know.
We were really
extremely grateful, because everyone we talked to had such a terrible experience, and we were so lucky that Kevin it was his idea, really. I mean, he was like, hey, stay here, we'll quarantine and we'll keep working, because nobody else, everything else was shut down.
Yeah. And maybe I don't know the story, but how did y'all meet, Kevin James? Like, how did you come to be convinced to quarantine and spend every day in his garage with him?
So we had done a series for a friend of ours, Shane Giblin, and Shane had hired us. It was actually probably the first thing we worked on professionally as a group.
Yeah.
And we needed a crew, and all the guys jumped on, and it was testament to Jeff Aziz, our brother-in-law, who was like, hey, you guys could, because even though we did the whole
Saving Bill Murray thing, at the end of that summer, it was like we were like, this is the greatest thing ever. Why have we not been doing this since day one, like professionally? And so it was like just the timing of it all worked out. We were like, my brother, like I said, the ones that were doing carpentry, we were like, we hung up the tool belt, and we were like, let's go work with Chuck and Jeff. And then that project came along, and our brother-in-law Jeff was like, hey, these guys, like, we have a built-in crew. Let's use the guys,
Yeah, so we shot this it was a documentary series, 6 or 7 short films. And then Kevin somehow saw those and had asked Shane, hey, can you put me in touch with those guys? I'd love to shoot with them. I think he liked the cinematography in it, and Dan had shot a lot. And so then we went and worked with Kevin. I think Kevin had some funny ideas. We shot a music video with him. And then he had this show he wanted to do called Cheat Day, where he would work out all week and then eat whatever he wanted on Sunday or Saturday, or, his cheat day. And so we shot a pilot for that show, which was hilarious, because we filmed Kevin working out and training with all these like UFC guys and all these like amazing trainers. And then we'd go eat at like the greatest restaurants that Kevin, like hole in the wall places, or places where you need like 4 months to get a reservation. Kevin would get us in. And that show did not get picked up.
Really? That's because you're telling me that, and I'm like, I would watch that.
But it didn't get picked up. But that's how we started working with him, and he was so grateful. He was like, "All right, there's 8 of you guys, okay? Like everybody does something." And I don't think anybody else would have taken us on as like a family, Like he was just the best at just, okay, everybody jump on board, And so that led to YouTube, which led to the films.
Do you have like a favorite story from one of those, or like, if you're hanging out around the campfire or whatever and talking to some guys, what do you think is going to be on the greatest hits album for those stories, for those projects right now?
I mean, with Water Brother, I would say I think the whole process. Like, I don't have anything in anything specific. I think there was just it was a time where everybody, all of our brothers, another project where all the brothers were involved, and so we were here in the studio.
And it was during the strike too.
It was during the writer's strike.
Yeah.
And we had a big like screening. It was going to be the very first screening, and so we had like a deadline, and we were all in here for like a month or two, just editing like crazy, like into every day until like 3 a.m. at night. Just everyone together.
6 different editing stations.
6 different editing stations. We work with another brothers, Colin Moniz and Christian Moniz. So Colin's one of the producers, Christian's an editor, and so they were here. So there's 2 extra brothers in the room, and it was just a great time. It was just a really cool period of time where we're all editing all day long together, and then we would watch the cut down at night, take notes, wake up, do the same thing the next day, and then we got to show it. Which this is this is a highlight for us. We'll probably never get this experience ever again. Yeah. But we got to screen it in front of 5,000 plus people at an outdoor venue in Newport, Rhode Island, and it was just, insane. And it was all about this guy Sid. You could tell about Sid.
So Sid, so the film is about this guy who's been he's been an icon in our part of the world for surf and skate. So all the surf and skate culture that was imported from California landed at this shop in Newport, Rhode Island, and everything's come out of that. The skaters up in Boston and Providence, and everything kind of came out of this hub. And even for us, like our dad would take us in there as kids to buy my dad's surfed his entire life, and he would bring us in there to buy wetsuits. He was getting a wetsuit for him, and we met this character Sid, and he was larger than life. And we would go in there, and I remember being very intimidated by him because he's like this legend. He was all, always all tatted up,
long hair,
and just taking over the whole room. And it was always a party, and it was always, he had like all these pro skaters and surfers around, and there was always music, but he used to give away all this stuff. Like part of the film talks about it. They called him the giveaway butcher because he would give all the stuff away out of his surf shop, and he never made any money. and that was why everyone loved him. He did this for everybody. And so
that's why there was 5,000 people there, because everybody there knew Sid or had a story about Sid. It was just that was the crazy thing. You look out at this crowd of people and you're like, wow, everybody here is here for this one guy. That's insane.
That was the thing. The screening was unique because it was with a community of people that had been around for 50 years, had been around this character. And when you get to do that, it'll never happen again like that, because it was a whole part of the city that was there, and they had a touch point on every part of the movie. They were there in the 70s when the shop opened, or like us, they were there in the late 90s when I used to bring these guys in, my younger brothers. I would bring them in like Christmas Eve, and he would have Santa bringing in pizza and like watching surf videos. And it was such a great memory. So you had all these different generations, and they all got to sit under the fog of Fort Adams, where it even started to drizzle at one point. And it was so cool because everybody just kind of sat and watched the movie and laughed and cried at times, because it was about a surf shop going away. They tore down his shop to put up a bunch of short-term rentals. And so it was an emotional thing. The end of an era. And it was kind of about somebody who'd always put people over profits and dealing with the consequences of a changing, world.
Yeah, another. I'm just thinking about it now. Another story was so I talked about the Moniz brothers. They have another brother, Alec, and we'd been in. Like I said, we've been in here for a month or two, editing, watching, and we were watching the cut, and for a while, like it's just something about it wasn't working. Like the ending wasn't really hitting the right way, and we were kind of struggling with it. And so we're doing a lot of re-editing on the end of the movie. And you guys know how it is. You watch something so many times, you become kind of numb to it. So you're like, I can't tell. Is it working? And I'm just numb to it, or is it not working? And there was a night where Alec Moniz was in the room, and he hadn't seen anything, and
didn't really know Sid at all.
Didn't really know Sid. And by the end of the movie, like we look over, and he's in full blown tears, and we were like, "Holy shit, that's it! Like it worked. That's all we needed to see." And we're like, "Thank God for Alec came in at the right moment." And so we kind of attribute, I don't know, to him, like we attribute to him.
Yeah, like we were on the right track.
We're on the right track, you know. Without him, you'd never have known.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would have been terrible if he was like, "Oh yeah, and I've been really working on my crying and my acting classes." No, that's awesome, man. Like I grew up with a local skate shop, and we had his name was Ronnie, but he was very much like a Sid type character, where like you could just go hang out in that shop. And like I hope that kind of culture still exists today, because like you just think about like the kind of community and the friends like I had from that era. Like, dude, that's a special thing to a lot of people. I could see how that story would resonate with a lot of folks.
It'll be on Amazon and Apple TV.
Actually, you should get the date for
Monday. Let's see, I was just talking to Carl about it.
Great.
September 15th. It'll be on Amazon, and for streaming.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Just this question has been in the back of my head while we've been talking this whole time, but do y'all like all live like on the same street right now? Like, are y'all...
Yeah, kind of. A lot of the guys that Pat, Brendan, Pete, and John, they're the younger guys. They literally live like 100 feet from where we are right now. They all live in a big, like it's a 3-story apartment building, and they all have their own apartments. It's pretty
awesome.
Funny. Yeah, my mom, a long time ago, my mom was like, I don't understand it. She goes, they work together, they live together, and on their off time, they hang out together. You guys not sick of each other yet.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do y'all know the American High guys?
We do. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy Gerlich had us up for a film. Actually, same year Home Team was released. Yeah. We filmed up there in the summer, and we had an incredible time.
Nice. What? So y'all made a movie over there?
We did. We made a film. And right now, actually, I don't know how much of this I can say. So yeah, we'll just tell you. But
yeah, well, we can delete whatever. I can see it. You know, I'm looking forward to checking it out at some point, because I love when it's unexpected. You know, like you have somebody who's known for all their comedy, and then you put them in a horror film, and then they kill it on that front.
Yeah.
So, and a bit of a tonal shift for you guys too. How do y'all feel about that?
Oh man, I was just talking about it with someone recently, and we were just saying how, it was just such a trip doing something like that. It was so different. I mean, going from Home Team too, especially, it was like a bunch of little kids on a football field, and like this. It was just like, geez. I mean, we had a lot. It was funny though. We had a lot of fun in between takes. Like we were laughing the whole time, which was really weird. Like had a lot of fun making it, but then when you call action, it's like, oof, like everything gets really heavy and dark and serious. It was definitely a big shift for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was the place too where we filmed. I mean, Gerlich's place up there, American High. I don't know if you spent time up there, but I mean, it's like all young crew. Yeah, they work on a ton of movies because of their deal with Hulu, and
it's like a one-stop shop. It's like everybody's up there. They all like everybody. Like Chuck said, it's a really young crew. They all know each other. They just go from like one movie to the next as a group. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
dude. I love that. And that's one of the things like I love about you guys with making movies with your brothers. Like I made movies with my brother and my dad growing up. And then our first version of Fable House was us making all these like shark movies for Sci-Fi and Christmas movies for Hallmark and stuff. And then we do like an indie every now and then for ourselves. And like we had this, like me and Colby always joke that like our dream is to like make movies with our friends, have fun doing it, and hopefully not go broke in the process. And like we had a few years where like that was going along and it felt great, but like, dude, we got to the point where like those budgets were getting so tight, we were having to make like 3-4 movies a year, and it just like we had to like take a break and regroup on that front, but like I'm so envious of those filmmaking groups where they're able to like stick together and go from film to film to film together. Because like to me, that's the dream.
That's the dream
Like,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. You did all the brothers work on that one y'all shot on American High?
Yeah, everybody did. A couple of guys wrote it. John and Pat wrote it with Kevin and Jeff Aziz, our producer, and our brother-in-law. Jeff is the one brother. There's a bunch of brothers and a brother-in-law, and then everybody else was on it. Pete
Will was a
edited.
producer. Our brother Will was a producer. Our brother Pete edited the movie. Our brother Brendan was the music supervisor. Everybody. I think that was also why that one in particular was so much fun, because it was like the first project that us as brothers got to be together. Like Home Team was kind of bittersweet because it was like a really incredible opportunity for us as a whole. But Chuck and I and our brother-in-law Jeff were really the only ones kind of on set for that. Even though everyone came and visited, it was great. But like this was one where
because of COVID,
that was the biggest issue.
We couldn't have a kind of an open set with everybody checking it out.
But this one in Syracuse was a lot of fun because, like I said, Pat and John wrote it. Everyone had a role. That was what was so cool about it. Everyone was there. We were every day together working on set. It was pretty amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like something that's in the back of my mind on that is, Yeller Brothers. I got a brother. We are friends. We hang out when we can and all that stuff. But, of course we have our differences here and there. And like my dad's one of 4 brothers and they all work together and stuff like that. And I just see how family solves creative differences versus how if it was strictly in a professional setting, how they solve problems.
Yeah.
But like how do you guys do it? How do y'all
just wrestle in the back?
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining.
Thrown through a window. It gets pretty crazy sometimes.
It can get heated for sure. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think the beauty of working with your family is that you, like we always say, like we're able to just kind of cut through all the bullshit. Like you're not talking to a coworker. There's no like formalities. You just
there's no politics. Just go out the window. So it's
just like, is this good or is this bad? Yes or no? And but that bluntness, I think, obviously causes some rifts because everyone's ego is fragile. Of course, when you're being creative, you're being vulnerable, and you're trying to show somebody something that you're working on.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they go, I don't know about this. I don't know if I like that. But that's the beauty of it.
It's a great way to test ideas, though.
Yeah.
If you get pushback, so sometimes you'll pitch an idea in the professional setting, and someone will go, "Oh, that's good," but they're just
let's circle back on that.
Yeah, it's not really good, right? They're just kind of they want to be nice and be liked, and everybody wants to be liked, right? With working in a group, and so there is that fear to be completely honest. Where in this group we have that brutal honesty, and we've come up with this system where if somebody does have an idea and there is a little bit of pushback, right?
Yeah, maybe like the group has decided like it's not the best idea. Let's just move on, and they're digging their heels in,
or they're fighting for their idea, and sometimes it's just we have the saying, we say take the note. It's not about anyone's ego or whose idea was best. It's about making sure the best idea wins, and that truly is it. Because as much as I want my idea to get in there and everybody be like, "That's a great idea, Chuck," or whatever, if it's not the best idea, it shouldn't be in there.
Take the note.
Take the note. The best idea should win. Yeah. So that's that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah. One with you guys, there's so many of y'all. I feel like if you got like 6 of y'all on one side of the argument, like kind of hard to fight against that.
A fast litmus test for everything.
Yeah.
It normally is that, right? It's normally like it's never like a 50-50. Like very rarely is there an idea where it's half the guys are arguing for one thing, half the guy it's like pretty much like
it's overwhelming odds.
And it's good. You can keep moving, hopefully. So
yeah. Do you have any like specific stories about that? Maybe on Home Team, or maybe on one of the shorts y'all did or something like that, where you could walk us through like a creative differences discussion that you guys had?
I'll share one. There's one that comes to mind for me. It's a little bit of an embarrassing one, but this is early on when we first started writing scripts together.
Oh yeah.
And there was this story that I loved, and it was great. Like it felt like something out of like Tarantino, one of those monologues where someone go on and tell like this incredible story. And I tried to jam it into this scene, and everybody was like, "Dude, I don't know, it doesn't really fit." And I'm like,
"What is this scene?"
And I'm like, but I was so hung up on this, how great the story was. And I was like, trust me, guys, like we're gonna, this is gonna work. Just trust me. And overwhelmingly, people were just like, I don't know, I would lose that scene. And I'm like, and I was so like, I loved it so much. It was such a darling of in the writing. And we sent it to the producers, and the only note that came back was like, what the fuck was that?
Like, what did that have to do with anything?
And it was one of those things where it was this is the early days. We've since like come up with a process on how to, but it was those early days of like, okay, like listen to the people you trust, and listen to, because if you can truly trust the people surrounding you, that creative team, at the end of the day, they're not going to steer you wrong. They may not be patting you on the back and saying that was beautiful, but you want that. You want the freedom to try things, but also you need that protective place where you can get that real feedback. So that's one for me. But that happens all the time.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of those cheesy podcast questions, but like if you had unlimited budget, zero studio notes, feedback, no rules, you could make whatever you wanted, what would you make?
Saving Bill Murray.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do is like, when there are no rules, what do you do?
And we go reshoot Saving Bill Murray. Try to go back to that, feeling again. No, I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Go back and shoot Saving Bill Murray, and Bill Murray's actually in it this time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it would be something here at home, though.
Yeah, it would be something
write,
here.
We have a couple scripts we're working on that take place in a small town like the one we live in.
Yeah.
And so, I think that would be it. It wouldn't have to be a huge budget, but
No.
That's awesome. What like, do you have like a genre you would pick, or like would it be more docu-style stuff, or like would it be?
I think we love dark comedy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Doesn't have to make any money, right? Like it could be so weird and offbeat that.
I think about that, and I have a lot of like my grandparents didn't speak English. I'm a swamp rat, and we have all these stories that I grew up just knowing because my grandparents told them to me, but it's from like a pretty fringe culture. Like Cajun culture isn't really like a widely known culture, and I would love to tell some of those stories one day, like just like weird folklore and like weird stories we have that just aren't all over the place.
That's cool.
And I think like it seems like you guys do this too, but I feel like there's always a little bit of you in the film, and like that's one where like I wouldn't have to think about it at all. It's just I know it intuitively.
Something from your family experience, and only the stories that you grew up hearing, and able to recreate that. I mean, it's such an interesting, from someone who doesn't know anything about the world. Like, it's fascinating.
So do y'all ever have the debate about favorite movies? Y'all ever have that conversation amongst y'all? Do y'all all have like the same favorite movie, or do you have your own?
We probably have the same, or maybe the top 5.
Yeah.
It's Casablanca.
No. I don't know if I have a favorite, but top 5 is would be Waking Ned Divine. I've never seen that one.
I have not seen that. Tell me about it.
For some strange reason, that's like one of our favorite movies of all. I mean, it's kind of a perfect little.
I don't know why. When I think about that movie, that's one of those movies where I'm like, shit, man, I wish I had that idea. It's so simple. It basically follows. Follows these 2 friends. They're elderly guys in this little Irish town,
the Isle of Man.
and it's just a bunch
That's
of
awesome.
elderly women, elderly people in this little Irish village, and they all play the lotto. They all play the lottery every night, and they discover that someone in the town has won the lottery, and so these two guys, who's the guy? It's Ian. What's his name?
Ian Bannon. Yeah.
Anyway, him and his best friend, they decide they gotta sniff out the winner and try to buddy up to him. And so they go through the whole town. They're trying to cozy up to everybody and try to find out who won. And they end up discovering that it's this one guy named Ned Devine. And they go to his house. They find out he's had a heart attack from the shock of winning. And so they decide they're going to impersonate Ned so that they can claim the winnings. They had a premonition where he goes, "This is what Ned would have wanted." Yeah. And so they decide to convince the whole town that they're
share the chicken dinner,
share the winnings. And so they gotta trick the lotto guy from the city into believing that this one guy is Ned Devine. And it's just a great movie. It's a great movie.
I'm adding it to the list right now. I got this ongoing just folder in my notes of movies to watch and how I came across the recommendation. That's great, man. I'm I ask a lot of people that question, and I'm so used to getting the same couple of answers. And when somebody says Rear Window again, I'm like, so I mean, clearly you'll like the movie. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a simple little movie. I think that's what I love about it.
I can nerd out about movies like that all day long. I love those. I love the ones where you're it's kind of like knowing about the band before everybody else knows about it. It's not super widely known, but it's done well. And then when people watch it, they're like, "Oh man, I love it too."
Yeah,
those are my favorite.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies is Bottle Rocket. Which I don't know if you've ever seen Bottle Rocket.
Yeah. No, I watched Bottle Rocket because I love the origin story of that group of guys too. Just knowing that was their first foray into it.
Yeah. Right. They did the short that went to Sundance, and then it was financed into a feature. And but I love that. That's an example of a film that again, not that I know too much of the making of it, but again, it seems like just a few people making a movie. It's something.
Yeah, dude. So those stories are fantastic. When I like the ones where when you find out more about the making of it, you actually end up liking the movie more from it.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about Solo Mio at all. Was that your first time working with Angel Studios?
Yeah. So Angel actually bought the rights to the film. So we made the movie independently with Jeffrey Greenstein and Mark Fasano and Kevin James. They produced the movie, and they wanted it to be a theatrical release. And there was some interest from some other studios, but what was interesting about Angel is they were going to put so much more behind it, and their audience loved it. It scored really, really high it scored high anyway in all the test screenings, but their audience really loved the movie, and they were going to put more behind it. They're kind of a tech company that does theatrical releases. So very interesting. And we just met with
all.
Just met with them. They're amazing. They have such an incredible plan for this movie. And so everyone agreed, out of all the studios that could have released this potentially, Angel was going to give it the best shot to. And it's interesting because it's not a faith-based movie, but it's a fun movie that's pretty wholesome, right? I mean, there's nothing in it that would go against their values in the studio and everything. But they by far are going to give it the best shot, and they have all these incredible ideas and viral marketing ideas and things that we're going to do with Kevin, and so it's really exciting. So we're excited for people to see. It's gonna open in theaters February 6th.
Very cool.
It's a great date night. So bring a date, and we're hoping.
Is that a joke, or is it actually a good date night movie?
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.